So
Yes.
there's a lot of riders looking for rides. So just get yourself, lots of nice results through the week, and to slot into eighth is something you really need. Going into probably contract hunts and stuff like that.
Well, that's something that's probably worth touching on, because these two races are coming at the sort of the pointy end of the season. There are a number of teams that are changing, a number of riders that are changing, and it's almost like between runs, are these riders trying to catch a conversation with the team manager, or go and see a sponsor, or try and make conversation? What's going on? What are my options? I've got something on the cards, and that only adds to the pressure, because you ultimately, if all you do is focus on riding your bike and you get your results, everything else takes care of itself. That's the best way to go about getting the best ride and the best contract, is to perform on track. But it's all well and good for me to say that the reality is that you probably need to put in some groundwork, and there's some managers that probably want to have a coffee, and that takes time and it takes energy, and it must be very, very difficult for a number of riders at this point in the year, when there's contracts on the line, there's teams that are shutting down, and riders are going to be,
Multiple teams.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's high level, very high performing riders, the number of them that I know of, that the future isn't certain for next year, and that brings another layer of difficulty around the race week. But you know
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's so much easier said than done. And for you, it's like, how do you help them with that? Because we could all say, hey, let's let your riding do the talking. It's like, well, that's
I
easy for
know,
you to say. I'm
I
on a
know.
6-figure deal,
Yeah, yeah, I know.
and I don't know what I'm doing next year. So if I don't pull finger in this race, I'm getting a pay cut, or I don't know who I'm riding for. It's a really challenging place to be, and I've been there myself. And then on the other side, I think there's certain riders that are performing, are also in contract negotiations, but they're getting multiple offers. So do you think that, yes, it's a distraction, but it's kind of fueling the confidence? Like, well, I've already got these three
Yeah,
offers. Like,
exactly.
I'm playing on house money right now. Whereas
This
the other guys are like, I'm in the hole. I keep going bust. I'm going to spend some more money, and I don't even know what's going to happen.
I think this is a fascinating side to the sport, when you've got professional sport in itself is all based on performance results, and people have a very short memory. And if you are if you have got a contract signed, or a letter of intent, or something that's there to say, hey, we want you for next year, this is our proposed deal, and you go out and you get yourself on the podium, you've got a big smile on your face going, hey, I've got negotiating power. This is brilliant. I can go to the next race, and if I perform again, I've got even more negotiating power. Let's talk about the bonus structure. Let's talk about the number of years in the deal. Let's talk about increasing it by 20% if I get a top 10, or whatever, however you're going to play it. I think that's an incredible position to be in. But on the flip side, if you've got your teams dissolving, your contracts run out, and you haven't quite got the results you want, and you don't feel as though you're putting yourself in the best light, oh, the chips are down, aren't they? And what do? Do you try and take something and secure something early, when maybe you're not getting the best value? But on the other hand, if you don't get that result, are you putting yourself in an even worse position? So it's a really difficult thing, and I think it goes back to our initial comments on this sort of different aspects of riding. The skill level is one thing. These guys and girls are incredibly skillful, and we can see that when we look at the men's category, especially, you've got a dozen, 15 of them who could, on their day, win the race. But it's all of these other elements that put them in that start gate, where all they can focus on is riding essentially with no other distractions. Can I just ride as fast as I can down this bloody hill? And if you can do that, I think you're in the best position, best possible place. And it shows the sort of psychology involved in elite sport.